I'm Natalia Bilbao, and today I'm with Shanad Rosas, Senior Housing Investigator from the Housing and Community Investment Department. We're going to be discussing the City of Los Angeles' new Emergency Renters Assistance Program, which will assist residential renters who have been unable to pay their rent as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as landlords whose tenants have not been able to pay their rent. So if you or someone you know is in this situation, stay tuned to find out about who is eligible, as well as how and when to apply. Hello, Shanad, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Hello, thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Shanad Rosas, and I'm a Senior Housing Investigator with the Housing and Community Investment Department.
So we're going to be presenting mostly in English. We'll have a round of questions after the presentation. And then towards the end, the last 10, 15 minutes will be in Spanish, do like a quick summary of the program. So Shanad, if you want to start sharing the presentation to get us started. Así que bueno, bienvenidos. Hoy vamos a hablar del nuevo programa de la ciudad de Los Ángeles, conocido como Programa de Emergencia de Asistencia de Alquiler. Así que si están atentos, sepan que el programa va a ser en inglés mayoritariamente, pero tendremos como unos 10, 15 minutos hacia el final para hacer una especie como de resumen y ronda de preguntas para que ustedes estén bien informados. Así que I can see that the presentation is ready, Shanad, so take it away.
Thank you very much. Again, everybody, welcome. And I am so excited to be here. And I'm here to talk about the 2021 COVID-19 Emergency Renters Assistance Program that the Housing Department is in charge of conducting. So what is ERAP, or what is this Emergency Assistance Program? So basically, the City of Los Angeles, in partnership with the State of California and the federal government, created a new Emergency Renters Assistance Program to assist residential renters who have been unable to pay rent as a, as a result of a pandemic, of the COVID-19 pandemic. All renters in the city of LA who are demanded to pay rent are eligible to apply in this program. What are the program's requirements? The program requirements basically, or the main requirement, is that the resident must be a resident of the city of Los Angeles and pay rent, or demanded to pay rent. Also, another qualification is that the person or the household has to be a low-income household. And the household income must be at least or below 50% of the area median income of the city of Los Angeles. And also that the household, either one or more members of the household, suffered any income or financial impact due to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the 2021 HUD income limits, on the table shown, the income limits for extremely low income household families, or the 50% for the very low. So these are the income brackets that we're going to be using to qualify tenants, depending on the number of household members. And every household member, regardless of relationship, whether it's your cousin, your family, your neighbor, I mean, as long as the person lives in your household, that's the number of people that you're going to count, and that's the total income that you're going to combine in order for you to know whether you are under these two brackets. Again, the focus of the program is to assist renters to pay past due rents because they were affected by the pandemic, either because they lost their job, because they had to stop working, because they had to stay at home to take care of their children, or because somebody in the household or the main tenant got COVID and couldn't work anymore and bring income to the house, so they couldn't afford to pay rent. So this program was created for these people, the people that need this assistance because they were affected by COVID and owe past due rent. Again, the income eligibility requirements is that the household must be at or below 50% of the median income of Los Angeles. We say 50%, it must be 50%, but we're going to prioritize those families first whose income are under 30% of the median income. So those are the first ones who are going to be eligible to receive the assistance. If the landlord agrees to participate in the program, the landlord is going to be compensated with 80% of the unpaid rent from April 1st, 2020, from last year after the COVID pandemic outbreak, through March 31st, 2021. In order for the landlord to receive this financial assistance, the landlord must agree to forgive 20% of the 100%, 20% of the pass-through rent, meaning that the program is gonna pay 80% of the rent, and the landlord must agree to forget 80%. So by the time the landlord it's paid, then the rent is considered paid up to through March 31st, 2021. If the landlord declines to participate because they don't want to waive that 20%, then eligible renters will receive 25% of the backdoor rent between April 1st, 2020 through March 31st, 2021. And that way the tenant could pay these 25%, and they're gonna be in compliance with the eviction protection requirements under the California Senate Bill 91, which again requires the tenants to pay at least 25% of the backdoor rent in order for the landlord not to evict the tenant for failure to pay rent. When I'm talking about the 80% and the 20%, how many people? So basically what this means is that assuming that assuming that the tenants pass the rent from April 2020 through March 2021 is $10,000. All the pass the rent amounts to that total amount. And the landlord agrees to participate, IRAP will pay $8,000 to the landlord, directly to the landlord, as long as the landlord agrees to waive $2,000. So if that's the case, then the say $10,000 are gonna be considered now pay rent, and the tenant is gonna be up to date. If the landlord doesn't agree to participate in the program, then the IRAP program is gonna pay $2,500 to the tenant, which is 25% of the pass-through rent, and the $7,500 remaining of the unpaid rent the tenant is gonna have up to a year after the emergency order is lifted to pay the pass-through rent. And the landlord cannot evict the tenant since the tenant has already complied with the state requirements of paying the 25% pass-through rent. Here are some key dates for the program. During the week of March 15, we notified those tenants that apply in a previous program that we had last year called ERAS, Emergency Renters Assistance Program, which assisted tenants with up to $2,000 to pay some of the pass-through rent, also from March through December. And many people, because of the funding, not everybody was eligible to receive the money. And so a lot of people remain on wait list or were qualified but didn't get the funding because we exceeded or we didn't have enough money available for these tenants. So we prioritized these people and gave them an opportunity to apply for the program prior to opening the program to the public, or those who already had applied and received the assistance. But in March 30th at 8 a.m., we opened the program to anybody in the city of LA who is eligible to apply. Then the program is gonna last up to for 6 weeks. So all renters in the city of LA will have from March 30th, 2021 through 6 weeks to apply for the program. And what the April 9th date means is that we're gonna be selecting applicants randomly. And the first wave of random selection is gonna happen on April 9th for those who had applied as of today. Now, that doesn't mean that if you didn't apply by April 9th that you're not gonna get a chance to get the subsidy. That just means that the first wave of applicants are gonna be randomly selected. And because we have the program open till April 30th, all applicants who are maybe eligible could apply. Now, as I said, on April 30th, exactly at midnight, all the applications are gonna be closed. So please don't delay, apply before, if you can, April 30th. And then on May 1st, it's going to be the final random selection for everybody that has applied on the last wave of applicants. So all these random selections are going to happen in waves, depending on the amount of applications we receive, either weekly or biweekly. And tenants are going to be notified via email or phone if they are selected. There is various ways to apply for the ERAS program. You can do it, people can do it online by going to hcidla.lacity.org. They could use their smartphone, they could use their computer, they could use their tablet. Applications online are open 24/7. So at any time, any applicant could go use their cell phone, use their tablet. I mean, if people is able to join Facebook and have a Facebook, I'm sure they can go to the website and apply. So I encourage everybody who might think are eligible, apply. Or if you can't apply online, or you don't have a phone, a smartphone, we also have ERAP's hotline, a call center where you can call and apply by calling 833-373-0587. This call center is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. To 8 p.m. And anybody can call. We have services in different languages. And again, if you don't have any way to apply online, then we encourage you to call. But application online is very, very friendly. So instead of waiting on the phone to be picked up by an agent, I encourage you to go online. It's the easiest way to apply.
All right, very helpful, Shanette. Thank you so much for informing everybody and being so concise and detailed about all this very, very important information about the program.
Thank you very much. And again, I mean, ERAP, in summary, is to assist those renters who couldn't afford to pay rent and owe back to rent from April last year through March of this year. And the program regulations and the rules of this program are in conjunction or concert with the Senate Bill 91. So we comply with the mandated regulations according to what the state is asking us to do. Again, there's no maximum of the amount of the subsidy or the assistance that the tenants are going to receive. If you're an eligible tenant and you qualify, you rent up to 80% if your landlord agrees to participate, is going to be paid. Those households with a 30% or less AMI income are going to be the priority on the first waves of the application, and then we're going to move to the 50% or below. If funding is available or becomes available, then we may open the programs to households whose income are 50% to 80% of the median income of Los Angeles. Different from the previous program, this time the ERAP program is only for past due rents, whereas before the previous program, the tenant could utilize the assistance to pay utility bills or any household or housing expenses. So this time is just solely on past due rents. I already spoke about the eligibility requirements. In summary, you have to be a tenant in the city of Los Angeles impacted by COVID somehow, not just because you had the virus, but because you lost your job, because you had to stay at home to take care of your children, and your income is below of the 50% of the median income of Los Angeles.
Great. That was a great recap, Shanette. Thank you so much again for sharing your expertise and inform the people in Los Angeles about this renters assistance program. So just a couple of questions to sum up what we saw. You mentioned there are different ways to apply, right?
Yes.
There's like a laptop, tablet. So can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so yes, there's various different ways to apply. If you're doing it online, you have to visit our website by going to hcidla.lacity.org. You can use your smartphone, you can use your computer, you can use your tablet. And once you log in, first of all, it's very important to let you know that you need to be 18 years or older to apply to the program. You don't have to be a tenant. Landlords can apply on their tenants' behalf. So that's a very important information for landlords to know. They could apply on behalf of their tenants if they do pass through rent. So once you go online, then you need to register. And that's something that they need to know, because many people think that once they go online and put their name and their email, that's their application. And that's not how it works. So I'm showing what you're going to be seeing if you are applying. So the first step is to register. So once you enter your information, which is basic information, name, last name, phone number, and email, then you will receive an email to the inputted email with a link, a username, and a password. So once you receive that email, then you're gonna go to the link provided on that email to start the application process.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. You mentioned several key dates. Can we refresh the viewer's memory regarding these very important dates?
Yeah, so I think it's important for them to know now that they have through April 30th to apply. Regardless of when are we gonna do the random selection, the application needs to be submitted by April 30th.
The other thing is, I think this is a very usual concern. I can relate to it. What kind of documents or proof do they need for this program?
Yeah. So they need to, if the tenant is applying, they need to prove that they're residents of the city of LA by providing a government issued ID. It doesn't have to be a California ID. It could be a passport. It could be a consulate ID, as long as the ID is current or expire within the last year of issuance. They also need to provide, to prove their tenancy by giving us a copy of the rental agreement, a copy of a notice given by the landlords, a rent receipt, or any notice or anything to show that they are tenants on that unit they're applying for. They also have to provide proof of their income, loss of income and their current income. Loss of income to show that they were affected by COVID, and current income to show that they follow or qualify under the AMI brackets. So that's all the tenants need. And also they have to sign a participation agreement, which is online. Now there's no new forms that they have to print and submit. Once they go to the application process, one of these forms is available on the system for them to just complete and agree to participate.
Thank you. Jeanette, you talked about income. What exactly is considered household income, which is something that you brought up in the presentation?
Yeah, so household income is literally any earned income by all household members. And earned income could be wages, it could be unemployment income, it could be any financial assistance the tenants receive. And it has to be by all household members, again, regardless of their relationship. There's many households who share rooms. They are just roommates, and each household is renting separately. So this assistance is for the entire household, is for the rental unit, not for the particular tenant who's applying. So if I am applying on behalf of my unit, I have to include everybody's income in order for me to qualify for the assistance.
That's interesting, Jeanette, because then I'm assuming there's people watching who might have roommates or who might not be the main tenant. Can subtenants and roommates also apply to the program?
Yes. Subtenants or roommates could apply on behalf of the household. Again, the subsidy is for the entire unit. So yes, subtenants or roommates could apply. They need to consider that they must provide income information from the entire household. If a tenant applies or a roommate applies and he doesn't know that the other roommate had applied, we are gonna monitor those duplicate applications and perhaps decline one of the applications, and just, if the household is eligible, approve one only, because it's per household, not per tenancy.
And what type of property is eligible for this program? Are there any limitations or distinctions?
So basically, all residential units in the city of LA are eligible to participate in the program. This includes single-family homes, condominiums, duplexes, apartment units, any units where there's renters, and the unit has to be occupied for living purposes, residential purposes.
Okay, so let's imagine someone applies and their application is accepted. Now, who gets the assistance? The renter, the tenant, or the landlord?
So if the landlord agreed to participate, the landlord is going to receive the subsidy directly. If the landlord disagrees to participate, then the 25% is going to be payable to the tenant, the applicant person.
And then if I'm applying again as a tenant, does my landlord need to know? And here's the other thing, because landlords can also apply. So let's talk about what it's like for a landlord to apply. So what kind of proof can have landlords got to submit for the application?
So the application for the landlord is a little easier because obviously they don't know the tenant's income information, or many don't know the tenant's income information. So the application process for the landlord is exactly the same, where they have to go to our website, same site. It's just the landlord's say portion or button or part. Or they can call as well and apply over the phone. It's basic information as to the name of the tenant, how much is the past due rent, how much is the current rent, and as much information as they know from the tenant. So once the landlord has applied on behalf of the tenant, we're gonna notify the tenant. Your landlord applied on your behalf to participate in this program. In order for you to qualify, you must provide this documentation. And then we're gonna be asking for the documents that we just discussed from the tenant, because they must be qualified in order for the landlord to receive the assistance.
So I guess regardless of who is the person who applies, it's always like a dance, right? So if a renter applies, their landlord needs to also be part of that application, and vice versa, correct?
Correct. That's correct. And so say that the tenant apply, because we need to have the landlord agree, we're going to be asking the landlord to provide also a government issued ID, proof of ownership, and a participation agreement where they're gonna waive the 20% of the past due rent, and also they're gonna be asked to complete a W-9 for W-10. I'm sorry, for their income. For us to provide at the end of the year for income tax purposes. And that's the same thing if they apply. If it was the landlord applying, they also have to complete this participation agreement and provide these documents so they can, we can proceed with the application process.
Now here's the question, Jeanette. What happens if me as a renter cannot get hold of the landlord? Can my building manager apply on behalf of the landlord?
Yes. Yes, so landlord, it doesn't have to be the property owner. It could be the on-site manager or the property management company that's managing the building.
And I guess now one question that affects both renters and landlords. Can they apply to other rent assistance programs?
So in the city of Los Angeles, this is the only program available of this kind. There is another program that the state, that the county is with the state kind of doing it at the same time that we are, but that's only for residents in the county of Los Angeles. So if you're a resident of the city of Los Angeles, the only program that you could apply to is this one.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jeanette, for all this very valuable information. I hope it helps our viewers out there. So like I promised, we're going to now do like a summary in Spanish, like a 10-15 minute summary. Así que, Jeanette, ¿estás lista ahorita para hacer una especie como de resumen de todo esto que dijiste tan valioso durante la presentación, para que la gente hispanohablante que nos está viendo, gracias por vernos, también sepa cómo funciona el programa, qué tienen que hacer para aplicar, etcétera?
Sí, claro que sí. Hablando en resumen acerca del programa, básicamente la ciudad de Los Ángeles, en conjunto con el gobierno estatal y el gobierno federal, crearon este programa para ayudar o asistir a los inquilinos que no han podido pagar la renta debido a que fueron afectados de alguna manera por el COVID-19, ya que perdieron sus trabajos o los despidieron porque el negocio cerró o porque las escuelas cerraron y tuvieron que quedarse en casa, no pudieron pagar su renta desde abril del 2020 hasta marzo 31 del 2021. Este programa es para esas personas quien no pueden pagar o no pudieron pagar su renta y que tienen que calificar debido a que son de bajos recursos, básicamente. Um, los inquilinos tienen que vivir en la ciudad de Los Ángeles para ser elegibles en una unidad de vivienda. Y otra vez, el ingreso tiene que ser menor del 50% del ingreso en la ciudad de Los Ángeles o también, sin embargo, perdón, vamos a dar prioridad a aquellas personas o aquellas viviendas o familias que sus ingresos sean menores del 30%. Ellos son los primeros quienes se les va a dar la asistencia y después nos vamos a ir moviendo hasta llegar a las familias que sus ingresos son del 50% o menos.
Y es muy importante saber de qué manera pueden aplicar, ¿no? Cuáles son los medios a través de los cuales ellos pueden aplicar, ¿no? A lo mejor internet, quizás llamando, ¿cómo pueden hacer esto?
Sí, hay diferentes métodos de aplicación. Algo que quiero reiterar y que no quiero olvidar mencionar es que no importa el estado migratorio de las personas para aplicar y recibir este subsidio, esta asistencia. Nosotros y nadie en la agencia le va a preguntar si usted es legal en el país. Así que no tenga miedo a aplicar a recibir esa asistencia solo porque viene del gobierno. La asistencia es por todas las personas que viven en Estados Unidos, en este caso en la ciudad de Los Ángeles, quienes no pueden pagar la renta. Entonces, para aplicar necesitan un teléfono celular o pueden hacerlo usando una tableta, la tableta de sus niños o pueden utilizar una computadora. Y tienen que ir a nuestra página de internet en www.hcidla.org y aplicar en nuestra página de internet. Las aplicaciones están abiertas las 24 horas del día, los 7 días de la semana. O nos pueden llamar a nuestra línea directa del programa de ERAP. Nosotros tenemos un centro de ayuda donde ustedes pueden llamar de lunes a viernes de 8 de la mañana a 8 de la noche y el teléfono es el 833 perdón, 373-0587. Otra vez, 833-373-0587.
Gracias. Ahí también aparecía en pantalla para que ustedes puedan tomar nota. Hablando un poquito también de la aplicación, de los documentos, muy importante, es cierto, recalcar que no importa el estado migratorio y algún otro documento que hemos comentado que sea importante. Hablamos de los ingresos familiares y eso, ¿en qué consiste exactamente, Shanat? Y qué tienen que tener listo para cuando llegue el proceso de ya aplicar.
Claro, como el programa es para las personas que no pudieron pagar la renta debido a que fueron afectados por el COVID. Estas personas tienen que comprobar que son residentes de la ciudad de Los Ángeles y lo que les estamos pidiendo es una identificación con foto que fue dada o expedida por una agencia gubernamental, ya sea un pasaporte, un ID de California, un ID de otro estado, la matrícula consular de su consulado, cualquier documentación con foto que confirme que es esa persona y fue dada por una agencia del gobierno. Esa identificación tiene que estar actualizada, tiene que estar vigente o expirada por lo menos un año antes de que aplicaron. Los inquilinos también tienen que comprobar eso, que son inquilinos de la unidad por la que están aplicando, ya sea que nos den un contrato de renta o un aviso que el dueño en algún momento les entregó como un aviso de aumento de renta o porque van a entrar a inspeccionar la unidad o recibos de renta. Cualquier documentación que confirme que ellos son inquilinos de esa unidad también tiene que comprobar que ellos fueron afectados por el COVID. porque perdieron el trabajo, entonces van a dar un aviso del empleador que perdieron el trabajo o, no sé, un aviso de la escuela. Las escuelas estuvieron dando notificaciones a los padres que tenían que salirse de trabajar para quedarse en casa. Cualquier documentación que confirme que ellos fueron afectados de alguna manera por el COVID o porque tuvieron COVID, entonces estuvieron en el hospital o cualquier prueba de ese tipo. Y también tiene que comprobar sus ingresos, ya sea por medio de unos impuestos o unos talones de cheque o cualquier documentación que confirme cuánto están ganando actualmente. Si los inquilinos no tienen pruebas, hay una manera de cómo se pueden certificar jurando en un papel de cuánta cantidad ellos ganan.
Muy importante. Y ahorita no hay que olvidarse también de los propietarios, ¿no? Porque hablamos de inquilinos, ¿cómo se conjugan estos dos grupos de personas?
Claro, este nuevo programa, los dueños o los propietarios pueden aplicar por parte de sus inquilinos. En el programa anterior solo inquilinos podían aplicar, ahora son los dueños también. Y básicamente el dueño tiene que aceptar recibir el 80% de la renta adeudada o atrasada para poder participar en este programa y perdonar el 20% de la renta que se debía para que así ellos puedan recibir el subsidio. Una vez que el dueño califique, tenemos que calificar al inquilino también. Perdón, una vez que el dueño aplique, tenemos que calificar al dueño, al inquilino también. Entonces, las mismas pruebas de las que ya hablamos se le van a pedir al inquilino para poder procesar la aplicación.
Ok, gracias, Shanat. Bueno, llegamos ya al final del show y de la presentación. Entonces, para hacer un pequeño recap, primero en español y ahorita ya cerramos en inglés, ¿dónde pueden encontrar todo eso? Dijiste una web y un número de teléfono, ¿no es cierto?
Correcto. Las personas nos pueden visitar en nuestra página de internet en hcidla.lacidy.org o nos pueden llamar a nuestra línea de IRAP al 833-373-0587.
Thank you so much, Shanat, for being here and sharing all this very valuable information about the new Renters Relief Program for the city of Los Angeles. So just to wrap it up, just a reminder of what website they can visit and what number they can call.
Of course. So any prospective applicant, or if you think you're eligible, please come visit us at hcidla.lacity.org. 24/7 application is open 24/7. Remember, through April 30th. And you can call our hotline at 833-373-0587 Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much again, Shanat, for joining us. This was Shanat Rosas. Thank you so much, all of you, for watching us. We hope that this was very informative, and we'll see you soon.